We've seen 11 seasons commence here in Fortnite Battle Royale, and we're now on the verge of season number 12 going live here in just a few weeks' time. Throughout those seasons, we've seen some pretty crazy things happen, from map updates to weapon buffs and nerfs, to various vaultings and unvaultings, to even a whole new chapter going live. These past 11 seasons have been absolutely awesome to watch unfold, as we've seen Fortnite evolve in a ton of different ways. But which season is the absolute best? Of course, that answer will be different for every single person you ask, as will the answer to which Fortnite season is the worst. But have no fear, today we're touching on all corners, we're laying it all out there, as we break down every single Fortnite Battle Royale season that we've seen so far, and rank them from worst to best. So if you guys enjoy the video, drop a like rating on it and let's get into the list. Number 11, Season 5. Starting us off as the worst season in Fortnite history, we have Season 5. Now, I do want to preface, I don't think there really has been a truly awful season in Fortnite Battle Royale. Each one has had its pros and each one has had its cons too, but really each season has been entertaining to say the least. But when compared to all of the other seasons we've seen, I just don't think Fortnite Season 5 stands out all that much. The general theme of Season 5 was Worlds Collide, and it seemed like at the start Epic was going to be placing Easter eggs in the real world all season long, as at launch we had loot llamas appearing in Europe, the Durburgers showed up in a Californian desert, and so on. However, very quickly the ARG Easter eggs came to a stop, and instead Season 5 just played out a rather confusing storyline that didn't really have any major narratives, aside from the cube spawning in near the end of the season. That in and of itself was pretty cool to see, but Season 5 in general just didn't really have any standout things, at least in my own opinion, aside from the Ragnarok skin, which to this day is my all-time favorite. But gameplay-wise, and update-wise, and storyline-wise, Season 5 was just pretty lackluster to me. Number 10, Season 6. Season 6 started off with the Cube Island rising into the sky, and while the whole evolution of Kevin the Cube was a cool thing to see, the remainder of Season 6 was pretty uneventful. The map updates were few and far from, the Battle Pass was arguably the worst we have ever seen as the skins were bland and the other rewards just weren't too enticing either, and overall the theme of Darkness Rises didn't really feel like it tied into the Fortnite universe as much as it tied into just being around Halloween instead. But for the season to last far longer than Halloween itself, the theme just kind of felt overdone and out of style pretty early on. So Season 6 in my mind was just not it, chief. Number 9, Season 7. We've hit the back-to-back-to-back so far, Seasons 5, 6, and 7 stacking up in a row as the 3 lowest seasons so far. AKA it was a rough couple of seasons for Fortnite in general. Frankly, Season 7's storyline was pretty cool as the Ice King would just torment the world around him, and watching the Fire King break free from being a prisoner in the dungeon was really cool too. But one, the planes, man oh man, the planes, one of the worst ideas in Fortnite history. Two, we also had the Ice Storm event, which to this day I think was the worst live event that we've seen because it was just really underwhelming. Nothing really changed outside of the map being covered in snow for a few days, which we had already seen happen during Christmas anyways. The Marshmallow concert was absolutely awesome, so I'll give them that, but I don't think the concert by itself can bring Season 7 any higher than the number 9 spots. Number 8, Season X. The last season that we spent on the OG Fortnite Island was certainly a roller coaster, and while the end event was the single biggest gaming event in history in terms of total viewers and players, much like the concert, it just can't carry the entire season by itself. The mech robots absolutely destroyed Season X, and the overall meta of the game seemed to be catered so heavily towards casual players that the biggest names in the game resorted to playing other games like Minecraft for a few weeks instead. Fortnite Season X saw the lowest lows in terms of community support, and for that reason it sits on the lower half of the list. Number 7, Season 9. The future is in the past now as Season 9 has come and gone, and in general Season 9 was an average season if you ask me. It wasn't really anything that stood out a ton, but it also did have some pretty cool takeaways too. The mobility in Season 9 thanks to the slipstreams was fantastic, and the game felt really fast-paced because of that. On top of that, the final showdown event was literally like watching a movie with how it played out. However, the Battle Pass wasn't anything incredibly outstanding, nor was the map updates that we saw outside of Mega Mall and Neo Tilted. We also can't forget the combat shotgun, which replaced the pump, and, well, that was probably the worst shotgun meta that we've seen in quite some time, as the combat was just a nuisance at all kinds of ranges. Number 6. Season 8. Season number 8 in Fortnite was another one of those that was just, average. Siphon got removed, so that was a massive drawback, but reboot vans were introduced, which are one of the best implementations in Fortnite history if you ask me, especially from a competitive standpoint. And the whole storyline of watching the bunker come together, then the unvaulting event kicking off, and the volcano erupting too was all really cool to witness. The destruction of Tilted was seen as good in some eyes and terrible in others, but the fact that it actually happened means it'll be a talking point for quite some time, as Season 8 was the very last time that we ever saw Tilted Towers in its original form. Number 5. Chapter 2, Season 1. To be honest, since Chapter 2 Season 1 is still ongoing and we haven't seen how it ends or where exactly the storyline is going this time around, we can't really say whether or not this season is the greatest of all time or just flat out bad. But so far what we have seen has been very impressive. It doesn't seem like there are a ton of drawbacks this season in general, as the meta is solid, the fishing strats give a nice twist to the gameplay, the map flows well, and overall I think there's been a very positive reception of the season so far. So it stands in the above average half of the list for now, but seeing as we do still have a few weeks left in the season, and of course the finale event too, this position could go up or down depending on how things turn out. Number 4. Season 1. Fortnite Battle Royale had to start somewhere, and it started off pretty strong with Season 1, as the map was not too complex, but it also wasn't too basic either. We had 13 named points of interest scattered all around, and the gameplay at the time, compared to every other Battle Royale out there, felt really fresh, as building offered a completely different dynamic and style of play to the game. To be fair, building back in Season 1 was impressive when you did a 1x1 in 10 seconds, and now if you don't have a 17-story skyscraper in 10 seconds, you are probably a below average player, it feels like. But for what it's worth, Season 1 was a fun, fresh, and unique season and entry into the Battle Royale genre. There really wasn't much bad you could say about Fortnite Season 1, as it was only just getting started. Number 3. Season 2. The successor to Season 1, Season 2 made a lot of improvements to Fortnite in general and added a lot of things that kept the game feeling fresh for longer. We saw the very first Battle Pass introduced, we saw the item shop replace the season shop, in the 2.0 patch Tilted Towers was added to the map, and from that point on it was the hotspot on the island up until it was replaced by Neo Tilted, which then was the newest hotspot. And even as Tilted Town, the area was still constantly filled with action. So what Season 2 set in stone for the future was largely agreed as some of the best and most pivotal stepping stones in all of Fortnite. Number 2. Season 3. Season 3 has to be placed near the top of the list, as it was back in Season 3 that Fortnite really was launched into the mainstream spotlight. At the launch of the season, this is when everyone in the world seemingly jumped onto Fortnite, and the player count and overall popularity of the game really started to peak day after day. We saw things like Drake and Ninja playing together, and Ninja in general really made new waves in the content creation game. And overall, Season 3 was really the turning point from Fortnite being just a fun new game to Fortnite being the biggest Battle Royale game, or really the biggest video game out there at the time. Number 1. Season 4. Obviously, if you've been keeping track, you saw this one coming, but in my opinion, Season 4 is the single best season of Fortnite Battle Royale that we've ever seen. Everything about it was just flat out awesome. The Battle Pass introduced upgradable skins for the first time ever, we saw the first ever seasonal map changes and weekly map changes, the storyline got underway as a result of the intro cinematic with the meteor crashing down, and of course we saw the first ever live event with the rocket launch, which completely broke the internet. So yeah, all around, Season 4 of Fortnite Battle Royale was definitely leaps and bounds ahead of its time, and for that, it sits in the number 1 spot on my list. So now that I've ranked the Fortnite seasons, I want to hear from you guys. Which season was the best and which season was the worst in your opinion? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like on it, give it a big old thumbs up, as it would be much appreciated. And of course, if you are new here and you like what you see, Feel free to subscribe with your post notifications turned on, that way you'll always know when a new video goes live. With all of that being said, that is effectively going to wrap things up for today. So thanks so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and we'll see you guys on the battle bus. Peace out.